Hello friends, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the series which we have started for IBPS A4 mains exam, that is agriculture. And this is lecture 21 in that series, and today we are going to do few MCQs on tillage, which is one of the very important agricultural operation in field preparation. So friends, I have one more announcement. We at EduTap, we have launched courses for IBPS A4 2020-21, and as I have promised, we have launched the courses for IBPS A4 mains 2020-21, and you can find the links to the demo courses as well as payment links in the description box below. So you can go through that and avail the offer. So friends, here comes the first question of the session. The area covered by MB plow, that is mold board plow, is how many hectares per day? This might be 2 to 4 bottom mold board plow. And here see, this is one of the important primary tillage implements that is used in land preparation for sowing, or preparing the land for sowing of the crop. And here the area covered by moldboard plow is almost 1.5 to 2 hectares per day, and based on the mold board that is attached to this moldboard plow, there are various types of moldboard plows like sod, slat, based on the type of soil. Like for sticky soils, one kind of moldboard plow can be used, and for sod soils, saline soils, or very hard crusty soils, one type of moldboard plow can be used. Likewise, there are various types of moldboard plows, and moldboard is that part of the plow which receives the furrow slice while plowing the land. As you can see here, this is a moldboard plow that will be attached, and here these are the various parts of moldboard plow. That is a moldboard, which is the important one. Next, share, frog, landside, sorry. So these are the various parts of a moldboard plow, and here, as per each part has its own function. As you can see here, the share and the share point, they are made up of high carbon steel, and it is that edge that makes the horizontal cut in the soil to separate the furrow slice from the soil below. And moldboard, as I've mentioned earlier also, it is that part of the plow that receives the furrow slice. And here land side is the flat plate which presses against and transmits the lateral thrust of the plow bottom to the furrow wall. And frog is a central part of the plow bottom to which other components of the bottom are attached. So as per the requirement, each of these parts have their own functions, and as I have mentioned earlier also, based on the type of soil, these moldboard plows are of various types. So friends, next comes is what should be the depth during the blind tillage operation. Now what is this blind tillage operation? See, it is one type of tillage operations that is carried out after sowing and before emergence of crop. And here this is one type of tillage, and the purpose of it is to kill the weeds or breaking up the soil crust so as to reduce the evaporation and to ensure an influx of air to the root. So these are the various purposes of performing blind tillage operation just after sowing and before the emergence of crop. And the depth of this, it should be the blind tillage operation, it should be 4 to 5 centimeters. So friends, see, killing weed, breaking up of soil crust, reducing evaporation, and ensuring an influx of air to the root. These are the various purposes of blind tillage operation, and this is carried out after sowing and before emergence of crop. So friends, next comes is, which of the following is or are the special purpose tillage operations? And here one is clean tillage. Nothing but the name itself suggests clean. The entire field is cleaned in such a way that even a single plant is not left undisturbed, and it is generally done to control the weeds and also to control the soil borne pathogens and pests. When complete clean tillage is done, the pests and pathogens would also be exposed to sun while doing this tillage operation. Blind tillage we have already seen. Dry tillage, this is generally performed in those areas or in those fields where there is lack of moisture. See, generally 60% moisture, of the total field capacity, 60% of the total field capacity, that much moisture should be there to perform, tillage operations. This is the ideal moisture percentage. But in dry tillage, it has only 21 to 23% of the total field capacity. This is a moisture percentage that is present, and this is generally suitable for those crops that are broadcasted, like rice, jute, wheat, oilseed crops, potato, vegetable crops, and arid conditions. Wet tillage, it's nothing but puddling that is done for rice field. And yes, all these are special purpose tillage operations only, as you have seen. And clean tillage we have already seen, blind tillage also we have seen, dry tillage also we have understood, and wet tillage, that is nothing but puddling. These are all special purpose tillage operations only. So friends, next question comes is, in which of the following crops is the zero tillage first adopted? And actually, what is the zero tillage? See, this is a kind of tillage process wherein primary tillage is completely avoided, and secondary tillage is also done in such a way that it is done in only that row zone where the seed needs to be put. So here what happens is the entire the what you'll say this soil residue, crop residue, that is kept on the soil surface only. And just before sowing, herbicides like paraquat or diquat can be used to control the weeds. Otherwise the entire previous year's crop residue would be there like that, and only the row zone would be uh, secondary tillage operations are performed only in the row zone, so that for seeding purpose. And this is not only to reduce the cost of cultivation, but also to reduce the disturbance of the soil, thereby to reduce the soil erosion, water evaporation, and irrigation requirement, and all these are the various plus points of zero tillage. And no till operations, that is zero tillage, it's also called as no tillage or nil tillage. This was for the first time adopted by farmers of India in 1960s, and that too in which crop? In rice and wheat crop, this was adopted for the first time. So friends, as I have mentioned earlier also, zero tillage process, it is the process where primary tillage is completely avoided and secondary tillage is only restricted to seedbed preparation, that too in the row zone only. And these are the various important purposes of zero tillage. It's also called as no tillage or nil tillage. It keeps 50% to 100% of the crop residue, that is previous year crop residue, on the soil surface. And before sowing, yes, herbicides need to be applied to control the weeds like paraquat and diquat, and this was adopted by the farmers of India for the first time in 1960s. So friends, here comes the next question. Which of the following is or are secondary tillage implements? Patela, Guntaka, Bakhar. These are all secondary tillage implements only, which are used to perform secondary tillage operations, wherein fine tilth is made so as to prepare the land for sowing of the seed. Primary tillage, it's only for breaking the big clods and making the initial tillage. But secondary tillage, it makes a fine tilth so as to sow the seed. So friends, as you can see, secondary tillage helps to improve the seed bed by increased soil pulverization, conserve moisture through destruction of weeds, and to cut up crop residues, and accomplished by the use of various secondary tillage implements like harrow, disc harrow, patela, guntaka, bakhar, hoe, cultivators. All these are the various examples of secondary tillage implements. So friends, here comes the most awaited section of the lecture, that is answer of the day. And in the last session, I have asked you a question, what are the byproducts of vermicomposting? Final product, we know that it's the compost, vermicompost. And while undergoing this vermicomposting, the process of vermicomposting, these earthworms, they get multiplied, and in some cases they are multiplied in such a way that their excess, even after carrying forward for the next batch of vermicomposting, there might be some excess. Now these excess worms, they can be converted into vermiprotein that can be utilized as feed for poultry, fish, etc., which is highly nutritious to them. And this is one of the byproducts. And vermi wash, you can say this as a value added product rather than byproduct. Vermi wash is a liquid fertilizer that is collected after the passage of water through a column of earthworm culture, and this can be used as liquid fertilizer. So next comes is question of the day. What is the disease which particularly is a devastating problem in a worm bin, that is during vermicomposting process, the bin in which they are being cultured, which is this particular problem is due to protein poisoning? What is the disease called and what are the symptoms of the disease? So thank you very much friends for watching this video, and if you have any queries, please write to us at hello@edutype.co.in, and if you have any queries, you can even reach us at the number given here. Thank you very much.